I think life is a pretty great teacher, especially when it comes to first aid and medicine. You know what this is? This is actually a toe splint. They also have finger splints that look very similar. But I got this because I stubbed my toe so bad I felt like I broke it. And this was like a year ago, like right before we were about to move to Alaska. Literally the week we were packing to put stuff, I stubbed my toe so hard I couldn't walk on it. Anyway, I got this not even knowing that this was even like a thing. Of course, at the time I was like, I'm just going to tape it. I'm going to tape it. But then, tape is very difficult to get on and off, especially with an injury. And you don't always want to like tape it super hard and that kind of stuff. Anyway, tape is definitely an option, but this was really nice because I could easily take it on and off without continuing to injure my foot or toes, if I had to take a shower or if it just fell off or any of these kinds of things. What's up, everyone? Morgan here. And today we're going to be talking about first aid in medicine, which for a very long time, I felt very inadequate with my knowledge and just like how to do anything outside of put on a Band-Aid, right? Outside of that, I was just like, I didn't need to know, right? But then I had kids and I was like, you know what? I gotta know more because I have dealt with so many first aid incidents with my kids that I never thought I would have to deal with before. And like the splint incident, I've had to deal with other things that I'm like, what the heck would I do in this situation? Now, luckily, my husband is actually, he has done work as a paramedic, so he has a lot of first aid knowledge, but my first aid and medical knowledge was definitely lacking. So I decided to change that. And about 8 years ago or so, I studied hard. I got a bunch of books. I got into classes. I read up online and watched YouTube videos. I did all that I could to try to understand first aid and medicine better. And I'm saying all this because if you are in the same boat as me, or if you feel like you could ever improve your first aid knowledge or skills, I highly recommend that you do this. Because this isn't just about like an SHTF scenario, taking care of everything yourself. This is about just having basic understanding of what to do in a scenario. And we always see these videos of people who are like getting shot or, there's some sort of trauma that a normal citizen could come over and help while paramedics are on the way. In a lot of cases, these just normal everyday people, if they can come over and help that person who is in need, whether it's just trying to see if they're conscious or whatever the case may be, you can help them in the time that it takes for paramedics to get there. And that could be the difference between life and death. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it literally could be. I remember a while back when a YouTuber said that Band-Aids won't save your life. Great. I don't care. I have kids, and this should not be called my first aid kit. It should be called my Band-Aid kit because that's all they come in here for. My kids know to come to this kit to get Band-Aids when they need it. And I let them pretty much free reign putting Band-Aids on themselves, not only for themselves, but for me and my husband as well. This is empowering them to learn about first aid, when we need to do things and why. I also use my homemade salve if it needs it, these kinds of things. My kids get injured all the time, and it's cuts and scrapes because they're outdoor kids, they run around, they do all these things, right? So we are always on the lookout for more Band-Aids. I have Band-Aids out coming out of my ears, just all over the place. But I also have this. This is a bucket of first aid. I love this thing. I've actually gone into this a couple times when I needed some square pads and things like that. This thing is just filled. And I'm always buying just medical supplies. Like I have a staple kit like this, and I have a suture kit so that I can practice suturing, and I have other type of first aid things, kind of like dental stuff. Like I have this book, Where There Is No Dentist. There's also Where There Is No Doctor. That one I don't have. I think I have in PDF form, but I need to get in an actual book form. But there is Where There Is No Dentist and Where There Is No Doctor. I'm also, of course, really big into herbs. You guys should know this by now. Herbal medicine, I'm huge on tinctures and salves and, making my own medicine with herbs. But outside of herbs, there's also just general, this thing is a beast. Look at this. As big as my head, as thick as my head. Okay. Nutritional healing. This is the 20th edition. Oh no, 5th. Okay, whatever. 5th edition. I also have a few other books kind of like this. That's like natural at home remedies, things like that. This is fantastic. I have referenced this quite a bit, like for at home remedies or just like nutritional health for like a kid's cough, things like that, and it's been really helpful. And even if I don't have the supplies or the knowledge right away, that's okay. That's why I have books, and I can reference this right now and be like, you know what? I have dealt with some kids' cough. So what would I need for that? It even talks about herbs in here. This is a great book. I'm going to be putting links down below to where you guys can go check these books out for yourself. All my kind of medical and first aid books. I also have a little tiny reference first aid guide in my first aid kit in my bug out bag. So, it's just little things like what to do with a bee sting and things like that. It's just like this little tiny reference guide. Again, I'm going to put a link down below. There's also trauma packs. I think trauma packs are good. A tourniquet and trauma packs, any of these things. I want you to take a stop a bleed course. I want you to take basic first aid courses, a wilderness first aid survival courses. I want to take one of those really, really bad. There is one here in Alaska that I want to get in on. But I think that would just be a wildly helpful course. If you can get into a wilderness first aid survival course, which there's one just about everywhere, you will be just on top of the game. REI usually holds them, but lots of other companies will as well. It's like $200 or $300, but it's worth it. Okay, totally worth it. I know it's worth it because of what they teach in it. And you'll be a lot better off, especially if you do go out into the woods and these kinds of things. And also, in addition to just basic first aid, medicines, just any type of medicines. I talk about herbal and medicinal herbs and things like that, but keeping pharmaceutical medicines, like we have vitamins and just I still have Tylenol and all these other things that I keep. And if we don't use it, we rotate it. Every couple of years, we keep it in cool, dry places to keep them, lasting longer. They can go past the expiration date or best by date, I guess it is, but they will lose potency after a while, just depending on blah, blah, blah. And I also have this Jace Antibiotics emergency medicine that you can get delivered right to your door. I'm a big, big fan of this, and I'm going to put a link down below to where you can go get this for yourself. But huge fan of having antibiotics on hand in case you need them. There's also a pamphlet in here that tells you when to use it for how long too, which is a super helpful part of it. And then of course there's prevention and exercise and trying to eat right and using proper safety equipment when you're doing things like eyewear and proper gloves if you are going to do any woodworking or trying to be as preventative as possible. Wearing cleats if they're going to be like in an icy or, cold, icy area. These kinds of things. Like you're going to want to try to be as preventative as possible, of course. But things happen. This is a layered system. You're going to have the first aid kits. We have them in our car. We have them at home. We have them in our ADC. We have them in our bug out bags. We have first aid kits everywhere. And so first aid kits, tourniquets, we also have everywhere. We have books where we can gain knowledge. We have medicine, either vitamins to keep us healthy every day or just medicine in case we need it every once in a while. We have the herbal, remedies as well. We're learning about those. And we also have, antibiotics on hand. And we also have the prevention and the exercising and all this. This is a layered system. You don't need to just do one thing and call it good. It's a layered system of health and wellness. And if you happen to need a Band-Aid, you got Band-Aids. And this is true for pets as well. A lot of people think you need like a special pet first aid kit or something. In my experience, they're like vet wraps, those kinds of things, and gauze. Gauze is what you use for injuries for pets and things. That's what we've used for pets. And there's also some pet specific like antibiotic sprays and things like that if you want to use that. But at the end, we're not necessarily talking about how we're going to be taking care of everything ourselves. Even though I have this book of where there is no dentist, is my first choice going to be doing my own dental work and pulling out my own teeth or whatever needs to be done? No, I will be going to a dentist, okay? Is my first choice to be suturing and stapling myself up? No, but do I know how to do this stuff? Sure. And if I need to, I will. And if there is no help available, and I have to do it myself, yes. But I can also, apply pressure if I need to until I get to a secure place. These kinds of things until I can get additional help is what I mean. And sometimes that's really what it's about. It's about knowing enough to keep you or someone else healthy, aware, and all these other things until you can get additional help. There's all these things. Again, it's a layered process. If you are feeling any sort of insecurity with first aid, skills, herbal medicine, whatever, start learning now. Now, it's a great time. It is the perfect time to start learning any skill you want. Just start researching. Hey, how do I stop a bleed? And there are some stop the bleed classes online. There's some stop the bleed classes in person. Start stocking up on medications and get books and stock up on extra first aid supplies and check into the JACE antibiotics and just start doing it. Put it on your list and go. Thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today, and do not forget to check out the rest of the 30 Days of Survival series. I will talk to you guys later.